Welcome back to the home of all things ballroom dance, and we are answering another question in our comments. I would be curious to know your opinion on receiving coaching as a bronze level pro-am dancer. Do you think it's beneficial, or would my money be better spent on more private lessons with my instructor? Thanks. So the question is essentially about visiting coaching or perhaps getting supplemental coaching where you take from two teachers at once. So one teacher observing you dance with your teacher while you dance with your teacher. And firstly, I'm going to read a reply someone stated in the comments, and then I'm going to share my own 2 cents. So here's what one of our wonderful guests here said. I've been dancing for about 5 years now, and I do think it's valuable to have someone else watch you and your pro dancing together because your pro can't see everything that's going on when he's dancing with you. But it doesn't have to be an expensive coach. If your studio has another experienced pro that can watch and coach your session, or sometimes my pro watches me dance with one of the other pros. You're still paying for an additional person, but generally at about half the cost. Okay, so here's my 2 cents. Number 1, warning. I did work with 2 pro couples who, in my opinion, were hard selling their pro-am students to take simultaneously and pay simultaneously to take with both the lead and the follow all the time. When that follow wasn't booked at all. In my opinion, I was not in their heads, but in my opinion, they didn't need all those lessons and they were just trying to get double pay. And book someone who otherwise people were not interested in taking lessons with. Number 2, if you're a social dancer, I would say skip the additional money you're going to spend on either the visiting coach or the guest approach, because usually these pros don't do that for free. They might charge you full-time. Maybe if you're lucky, they'll charge you half-time. This depends on the teacher. But for social dancing or beginners, I would say save the money, because at that point, that guest assistant coach, so to speak, will just be telling you what you could just pay one person to teach you. So if you're still working on heels and toes, names of figures, angles that you should be taking, that can be a one-person job. However, next part, if you compete, number 1, I would ask your coach what they think. Because 99.9% of the ballroom dance teachers are very ethical people. They want you to do your best. If they are on the comp floor with you, I sure as heck want my student to dance the best. And so they're going to give you really insightful, great advice. Okay, next. If you are a serious competitor, meaning you've mastered the syllabus, or maybe you're, staying in bronze because you really want to dance well in the long run and your coach will kind of take you in the right direction there. If you're a serious competitor, you want to go out there and win, not just participate, I would encourage you, if your pro has someone in mind, go ahead and pay extra to have that second eye looking at your dancing. And I totally agree with our friend in the comments. In my experience, watching the pros dance pro-am where they never get to see that person dance with another partner, again, this is just my own experience in my little area of the world, it's very helpful to either the lead or the follow if you never get to dance with another person other than that pro. Go ahead and please, I would do yourself a favor and invest in that extra lesson. When I owned a studio, I would even just keep my eyes peeled on what was going on. And even, if the pro wouldn't, invite me to teach their student, when I saw something like egregiously stand out that obviously that pro was blissfully unaware of, even sometimes the pro would choreograph outside of syllabus. Say, my specialty is international standard. I know that inside and out. When I would see them do, say, a twinkle or something, well, that's, or maybe they'll do a lock and foxtrot. Whoa, that's not syllabus. I would privately speak with the pro and say, hey, why don't you, adjust this? Or I reliably saw a lady doing something, jacked up, or a lead doing something that I'm like, oh gosh, I don't think they're aware that they're doing this. I would, for free, just pull the pro aside and give them that feedback. If I was really comfortable with my relationship with them. This day and age, I do not own a studio. I sold mine, 5 years ago. And I would never independently approach a pro and say, hey, that's not going to be allowed in syllabus, or I would never encourage them to have me co-teach. Because I don't want to step on any toes as a pro. The last thing you want is another pro to think that you don't respect them. And I respect all pros. If they are currently teaching dancing and they have a good clientele, that tells me they are doing something right and they're doing something wonderful for our community by building it. But anyway, yes, I definitely, if you're a serious competitor and your pro never gets to see you either dance with even an amateur partner or another pro, really doesn't matter. And certainly, if you only dance with them, I would absolutely ask them, hey, is it okay if we take with another teacher? Because they might also just not want to feel like they're hard selling you. When I would bring visiting coaches in, it was very uncomfortable for me, even though I know it's in the student's best interest to say, hey, would you mind throwing me a bone? Let's take a lesson with this person. Because I know it's expensive and I'm always looking out for people's pocketbooks, And so if your pro hasn't brought it up, it's not necessarily they don't think it's in your best interest. They're probably just not wanting you to think that they're trying to hard sell you on anything, So that's my 2 cents, guys. I also recommend, maybe it's not in the budget to pay both the pro and the visiting coach. At least in my case, I'm fine if you cancel lessons with me that week and just take with that pro. If you don't have the money to take with me as well, hey, do yourself a favor, ask that visiting coach, can I videotape this lesson? Or often they're not okay with that, in which case, hey, take copious notes afterwards and then read them to your pro afterwards, because we as your home coach want to support whatever information you are paying through the nose through to get from someone else. And you know what, guys, there might be something that you hear from that other teacher. They're like, what the heck are they talking about? You know what? Ask your primary coach. They probably know that person that you're taking from, and they can translate, so to speak, for you, and then just reinforce the concepts that were working for you in the next lesson. Or describe it in a different way. So maybe that different person said something and you're like, what? Well, I don't want to dive down this bunny hole for 3 hours. Your home coach can probably decipher that for you and help you get the most for your money, because that's what we're all here for. So hope that's been helpful, answers your question, guys. I love when you answer or ask questions and when you answer questions in the comments too, because we are a worldwide community of ballroom dancers. We all have our unique experiences, and I'm going to share with you my own personal experience from 40 years in this industry, but cumulatively, we probably have thousands of years in this industry, and I love that. I love hearing your stories and where you are in the world, and love hearing your questions. Makes it very easy for me to choose what to post a video on next. So I look forward to seeing you first thing tomorrow morning for some more things ballroom dance. Have a great day, guys. Happy dancing. Doodles.